Samsung Fold 5 and Flip 5 is finally here, and I really don't know what to say. I mean, Samsung, what the... So, Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Flip 5 are finally out, and I gotta say that it was kind of disappointing, and I think we already kind of anticipated that because there weren't really any new changes. According to the rumors, we actually saw a hands-on picture of the phone, and that's exactly what it is. There's really no change. The design is the same. The display aspect ratio is the same. It's still that tall aspect ratio. The display on the front and on the inside is still the exact same. The camera on the back, it's still a 50 megapixel camera when we were expecting a 108 megapixel camera. That's still not going to be changed this year. And I don't know what to say. I mean, honestly, the only big change that we saw is the performance, which is Snapdragon's 8 Gen 2, which was pretty obvious because what else are you going to pick? But then we also have the change on the hinge side, which is the biggest change that Samsung put out this time for the Flip and the Fold 5. And that's not really a big change because the thing is that Samsung was the first company to come out with foldable phones, and it raced to get there and be the first one. And I'm not saying that that was not an important step. It had to be taken by someone, and we're glad that Samsung did it because then a lot of people started doing what Samsung did. But very soon, then other companies really immediately then took over Samsung and left Samsung behind. And that's kind of disappointing. It's been 5 generations since the foldable came out, but we're still at the exact same place somehow. I mean, it's the same phone. There's really not a lot of change. The design is still the same. It's pretty much the same thickness. The hinge is the only change, which now this time doesn't have a gap inside of it. And that's it. I mean, we didn't even get the IP rating that we were expecting because of the new hinge. A lot of rumors suggested that we were going to get dust protection, but no, we're still getting the same exact water protection that we had in the Z Fold 4. So I don't know. I mean, I don't even know the point of this event at this moment. It's kind of weird. I don't know what they're doing in the market when we have phones like the Honor VS2, which is a complete redesign from the first generation. It's amazing to see that just in the second generation of the Honor VS, they completely change almost every single aspect. We have a 5000 milliampere battery this time on the Honor VS2. You have a thinner design at 9 millimeters thick, only 9 millimeters thick, which is just slightly more than the current iPhones, which are at 7.8 to 8 millimeters thick. In the folded state, in the unfolded state, it's around 4 millimeters something, which is like crispy thin, as I said in one of my videos. So I'm not sure what Samsung is doing. We see the same 12 gigs of RAM this time for every model. And it's kind of disappointing to see how the Fold kind of became one level lower than the flagship. Because if you guys remember, there was a time when the Fold was about to come out. The Fold wasn't introduced yet. This is about 3 years back. And the Fold was supposed to be the replacement for the Ultra, and the Ultra was, for the Note models, and the Note was then discontinued, and then it came out with the Samsung Galaxy Ultra, which is now the flagship. But if you guys remember, the Note was always the flagship, so that was kind of the replaceable for the foldable phones. But even the foldables are not now flagship because there's so much stuff that you have to take out of the foldables just to make a foldable phone, just so you have this, right? So it's kind of disappointing to see where Samsung is at this moment, especially design-wise. I mean, the only change is the hinge, which is something that they should have done a long time ago. I mean, other phones that came out later, 2 years later than them, have a hinge which doesn't have a gap. So again, I don't know what Samsung is doing this time. And we also didn't get any S Pen slot, which was something that was rumored again on the Galaxy Z Fold 5. So we were hearing rumors that just like the Samsung Ultra phones, there was going to be a slot for an S Pen. It does have S Pen support, but it doesn't actually have a slot for an actual S Pen. And if we talk about the Flip phone, the Galaxy Flip 5, there's no really change there either, apart from the next gen chip and just having a bigger outer display. There's really no change at all. I see a lot of people not really excited about this, and there was a lot of hype about it, but for what? There's just because of a hinge change and a chip that's been used on other phones for the past 6 months. I would have actually liked to see Samsung release this with the S24, which is coming in January, February. And I kind of understand that the hype then is not as much for the Ultra phones or for the Galaxy S models, so it kind of dies down if you release 2 phones at a time, which is understandable. But at least then, or at least, you know, delay it a little bit. So then you can come up with the Snapdragon's 8 Gen 3 chipset, which is rumored to come in the S24. So then you kind of then see a little bit of a transition, or kind of some components being used from the Samsung Galaxy lineup, S lineup, to the Fold lineup. So that's my point. That's my take on this event. Not really, you know, fruitful, I would say. There were other devices that were also released alongside. We have the tablet, we have the watch. I'm not going to discuss those in this video. Just really focusing on the Fold devices, which was the hype and everyone's talking about that. And finally, now that we have them out, it's kind of disappointing to see what Samsung came out with. So yeah, guys, but anyways, I'm still not gonna skip the unboxing and the review. I'm gonna get these phones in the studio, so I'm gonna do an unboxing and a review of both of them. So stay tuned for that, and let me know what you guys think. Do you guys feel the same way that I do? Am I over exaggerating? Am I being too bitter about this? I don't know if I am. I may be. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let me know your thoughts and your opinion on the Galaxy Z Fold 5 and the Z Flip 5, and let me know whether you would actually consider buying this phone, or would you rather skip this generation and go for the Galaxy Z Fold 6, which is actually rumored to get a complete redesign and a few meaningful changes that will actually then make sense for the, you know, buying the phone. So yeah, guys, that's my take on the Unpacked event that happened today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.